Time to take a look at the starting goalies, brought to you by Honda. There is Steve Mason getting set to go for the Flyers, despite the fact that it was Ray Emery that pitched the 1-0 shutout in the Flyers' last game Saturday night, bouncing back from the 7-0 loss against Washington the night before. It is Mason getting the nod tonight. Craig Berube said it was the plan for Mason to go, and it will be Justin Peters, his 6th consecutive game, 5th straight start. He came in to replace Cam Ward when he was injured back on October the 24th, just 4 minutes into a game against the Minnesota Wild. And two teams that have struggled. Carolina has lost 5 straight. The Flyers, despite that 1-0 win, in last place in the Metropolitan Division. As the two top lines start off head-to-head here. Now Giroux in the corner plays it along the boards behind his own net. Palusi, number 19 there for Carolina, but it's knocked away. And Hartnell tried to slide it across for Giroux. They couldn't complete that play, and Eric Staal back to get it now.
Dave, the good news for whichever team wins this game is they'll be right back in the hunt with the Islanders and the Rangers and the Washington Capitals, because they are not that far out. Yeah, both these teams have struggled. There is no doubt about that. For Craig Berube, his team, he said he thinks we've cleaned up a lot of things defensively. Yeah, we want to score some goals. He said if you look at our power play, 29th in the league. But he said, I think in the last couple of years, we've relied on it too much. We got to score some 5-on-5 goals. That's what he's looking for, some effort and some production offensively. And Kirk Muller wants his guys to try and get the lead in the game. They've gone 5 straight games starting out behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, Flyers had the 3rd best power play in the National Hockey League last year, and they are 29th next to last so far this season. Berube was honest in our conversation this morning when he took over 3 games in for Peter Laviolette. He wanted to improve the 5-on-5 play, and here they go. The Flyers in the offensive zone trying to make something happen. Alexander Semin comes up with it for the Canes, and he'll wheel around now to find some time, and now hands it off. Out to Nathan Kirby, who leads Carolina with 4 goals. Then their most consistent forward, according to most people that see this team every day.
Yeah, he's motivated for sure. He got bought out by Buffalo in the offseason. Nathan Kirby has been the best forward for Carolina this year.
Now Grossman under some pressure. Able to get some help from Mark Streit, who backhands it up the near side. Couturier there for the Flyers, but a couple of Hurricanes as well. Now Grossman has to play it again. As Lindholm, the rookie number 16, was there and sent down the ice, and this will be icing against the Flyers in a faceoff back in the Philadelphia zone.
Steve Mason is in goal for the Philadelphia Flyers again. And you ask the Flyer fans and people who've watched this team all year long, they'll say it is not Steve Mason's fault. He actually has really strong numbers. The save percentage is terrific. The win-loss thing is not where he wants it to be overall this season, but he has played some very terrific hockey.
Faceoff comes out to the end to Murphy, who hammers one just wide. Number 7 for Carolina, Ryan Murphy, who picked up a fine from the National Hockey League for a clipping penalty that he had against Derek Dorsett of the Rangers in the last game for Carolina, 5-1 loss. And Brian, as you were talking about Steve Mason, we saw his career numbers against Carolina. Terrific numbers there as well. Second meeting between these two teams that played back on October the 6th, a game that Carolina won 2-1. And across the line now. Pass to the front of the net was blocked. And it's recovered now by Simmons. He'll start it back the other way.
The interesting thing about both these teams, as tough as things have been for them so far this season, neither team seems like they have a real high anxiety level.
No, they don't. Absolutely right, Brian. Pretty good positive energy from both teams this morning at the morning skate. Al Gill playing in his 2nd game. We heard the guys in the studio talk a little bit about number 75 looking for a job and getting one here in Philadelphia, and he puts a hit on Grayson Bowman right at the Flyers' blue line.
Well, Gill really helped stabilize the team. I mean, they won 1-0 against New Jersey. They had 0 turnovers according to the official records. That's outstanding in today's game. And Al Gill was a big reason. Ever since he played college hockey, they always said, well, Gill's too slow, he can't play. They're still saying it, and he's still playing.
Yes, he is. Now the 4th line out here for the Flyers, Ronaldo, Paul. And time again, number 15, who knocks it down. Craig Berube having to kind of reshuffle his lines after the 1-0 win in New Jersey with LeCavalier missing that game. Here's a turnover by McCain, and a shot fired just wide by Hartnell. Again, he's another guy that has struggled in the scoring department. Does not have a point in the 9 games he's played. He's missed 4 with an injury. Mike Milbury pointed out over 30 games going back to last year without an assist. Now turned over by the Flyers. Back the other way. Can't kick out of there by Mason. Good stop there. Now the young defenseman Belmore, who jumped up into the play, and back the other way now. Giroux looking to hand it off for Hartnell. He wheels and hits the back of the net.
Well, the Flyers committed a turnover there, and Belmore had a terrific scoring chance because of it for Carolina.
Now Timonen on the far boards. He tried to send it toward the net. It's knocked down by Harrison. Kicked back by Hartnell though to the point. Timonen tees it up again. Traffic in front of Justin Peters. That was LeCavalier that was there. Now here's Hartnell trying to get it back to the front. Penalty coming against Carolina as Mason had started to head to the bench. When he saw the arm up in the air as the referees Tom Cowell and Steve Mazzari working the game tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a hooking call. Looks like on Alexander Semin. That was down low in the corner. Yeah, Semin was just getting a new stick. He looked like he was going over to his bench, but he just wanted to trade sticks. So the power play for the Philadelphia Flyers that has struggled mightily, to say the least. When you're in 29th spot, you know everybody except one is doing better than you. Semin in the box better for hooking. We'll see what happens here on this Flyer power play. They've worked on it a lot this morning in the pregame skate.
Power play brought to you by Craftsman. Philadelphia goes to work here, but it's the shorthanded Canes that control the draw on a bouncing puck. Picked up by Radek Dvorak back in the lineup after being on the injured list for a few games. It was Dvorak that had the game winner in the first meeting between these two teams back in early October. Now picked up by Dwyer, and he'll start it back the other way. A little self-pass off the boards. Slowed down a little bit by Reed.
Telltale sign, too, that Claude Giroux not out there to start the power play for the Flyers. He's going to come out here pretty quickly, but he has struggled, hasn't scored a goal yet this year. And is it the power play is bad because Giroux hasn't scored and hasn't had the same level of offense, or is it the other way around? I guess yes to both.
Well, the Flyers coming out of their own zone about halfway through this power play opportunity here. 5.5 minutes into this first period. As LeCavalier pushes it in deep. Belmore back to play it now. Around on the far side. Big pinch over there by Timonen, and now it gets through him. And it's backhanded by Kirby, but it goes out of play. And right away the linesman indicating that it was deflected as some of the Flyers were hoping for a delay of game penalty.
Oh, yeah, they were trying to push it right away.
There's Radek Dvorak, and interesting talking with Kirk Muller this morning, Brian. He's one of 2 players on this Carolina team that Kirk Muller played with during his playing career.
Yeah.
Was a line mate with Radek Dvorak back in the late 90s, and then in the early 2000s, he was a line mate with the guy who's taking the draw right now, Manny Malhotra, when Muller and Malhotra played in Dallas. You don't hear too many coaches that coach guys in the National Hockey League that they played with in the last decade or so.
Yeah, that's true. You don't hear that very often. It makes it a little bit sticky for them, but there's a respect factor, obviously, that takes over. You got Patrick Waugh and Alex Tanguay in Colorado, same thing.
Absolutely. Just over half a minute remaining in the Carolina penalty as it's sent back in behind Mason. He'll shovel it now as Giroux hands it off. Timonen, right side now for Voracek. His only goal coming against the Islanders back on October the 26th. So it's not just Giroux and Hartnell and some of the other players we've mentioned. It's been team-wide in terms of lack of scoring. Sekera now on a rush all the way up the ice, hands it off, and a one-time attempt there by Malhotra. And we've got a penalty called on the rush up the ice that's going to go against the Flyers.
And you know what? Voracek did a really good job there. He was a little bit soft on the initial rush, but he sorted the play out well enough that he was able to deflect the puck right in front of his own net. Kimmo Timonen ends up taking a penalty. There's Voracek right there. He gets turned around, and Timonen's worried about the play, so he reaches in and takes the penalty right here. Timonen thinks he's all alone. There's the hooking call. But look at Voracek. Even though he was beaten, he went back to the front of the net, sorted it out, deflected the play away, and saved it.
Canes win the draw, and Semin now steps out on the ice. He'll head right to the offensive zone as part of this #1 power play unit. And Carolina gets their first chance on the man advantage. It fires just wide by Simmons. Not going to get many better chances than that, Brian, with that shot that he possesses.
No, there's no doubt. It was in his feet just a little bit. Nathan Gerby did a heck of a job of pulling that puck off the wall, though, and getting it to Simmons.
Hurricanes 22nd ranked in the National Hockey League on the power play. The Flyers ranked 11th on the PK as this puck at the line gets by Eric Staal. Picked up by Couturier, has a man wide open in front. Mishandled a bit, back to Couturier, hit the goal! It got by Peters and hit the post on the far side. Eric Staal hands it off, Seven with a blast at Mason to save.
Oh, that was a big save for Mason because that would have been a huge swing there. Terrific work by Couturier and Reed. Short-handed at the blue line. Couturier was able to turn the puck over and drive it down the ice. And then the pass to Reed, Reed couldn't handle. So Reed did the smart thing and gave it back to Couturier. See how it bobbled for him right there? But he's such a heads-up player, Reed is. He gets back to Couturier, had the goaltender Peters beaten on the play, but rung it off the post.
And Reed has the Flyers' only shorthanded goal this season. Came in a game earlier against the New York Rangers.
And Matt Reed has been the best overall forward for the Philadelphia Flyers this year.
Sekera plays it ahead, and we've got interference, I think, Brian, being called against Carolina on one of those pick plays at the blue line on the rush into the zone.
Yeah, it looks like Tuomo Ruutu is the victim here. He's arguing his case, but that's always in vain at this point. Going to be an interference call. Looks like, yeah, right at the blue line. Ruutu's a hard-nosed guy. He's pretty slick, and these plays are try to work them all the time. Let's be at the top of your screen. I think we just missed it there. But anyway, Ruutu ends up with the penalty, so it goes back down to 4-on-4 situation, more ice out there.
Voracek and Braden Shen for the Flyers up front as Shen wins the draw. The shot by Strike was blocked. Now it comes back to Mazzaros at the right point, forced outside the line and dumped back in, delayed offside. And they'll wave it off as Voracek tags up, and here comes Murphy. We've heard about this kid's skating ability, and he's showing it here. He loves to go with the puck.
He's got great hockey IQ. He's getting more and more confidence all the time. Murphy really can bring it from the back end either side.
Voracek off the back. A shot here is down low on Peters, but he covers up. 11:49 remaining in the first. Each team has had a power play chance, but it remains scoreless in Raleigh. Kirk Muller in his third season behind the bench. He took over late November of 2011. And then, of course, you had the lockout last year. So this year, even though he's in his third year, really the first time he's had a full training camp with Carolina to try to get things off on the right start. And actually didn't start all that badly for Carolina. 4-2-3.
That's right.
First 9 games. And then the injury to Ward, the injury to Hudobin. Of course, they started the season without Hitkinen. Then they lose Skinner.
They keep getting down on the scoreboard, and quite frankly, Justin Peters just hasn't been able to come up with the timely saves at the right time. So I think there's a bit of anxiety there, even though Carolina doesn't want to talk about it, to try to get the early lead for sure so they can get a different feel, especially being here at home and starting a 5-game homestand.
Timonen has come out of the box, Brian, so the Flyers now on their second power play, just under a minute remaining in the Ruutu interference call. See if Philadelphia can get something going this time with a man advantage. Sent back to the line, but that doesn't connect. Hartnell, Giroux, Voracek, Simmons, 4 forwards out here for Craig Berube. Now across the line, they set it up for Voracek on the near side. Backhands it away from Ron Hainsey. Well, Hartnell sends it back around, and the referee trying to get out of the way. Could not. Could be a 2-on-1 shorthanded. Gerby and Jordan Staal. Gerby across for Staal, and a save by Mason.
Can you believe he made that save? What a blocker save that was. Terrific setup by Gerby.
Steve Mason catches with the right hand, so that's the blocker side that Jordan Staal was shooting at, and
he just fisted that one away with the blocker.
Ruutu is out of the box. So back to 5 skaters aside. Each team has had a terrific scoring chance. The Flyers short-handed, and then Carolina moments ago, also a man short.
Well, Flyers trying to get that power play going that's been at the bottom of the league, gambling a little bit and leaving Tiemann all alone back there.
Now across the line is Michael Raffl. Rookie out of Austria wears number 12. And on the line here with Couturier and Matt Reed. This backhanded on the far side for a shot here that's turned to the corner by Peters. Now Reed sends it out. Left point. Gill is there. Sends it back to the front off of Schenn. A chance here at Peters. His best save. Just past the halfway mark of the first period. Each team has had a glorious shorthanded bid. There's the save of the game by Mason to keep it scoreless.
Coach, coming into this game, you guys had suffered 5 straight losses. You were being outscored by a lot. Are you seeing your team settle down? Are you getting the offensive looks that you want?
Yeah, we just talked about the details, and you know what? I mean, we had opportunities already, and we just said, let's focus on the little things of the game. You know what? The chances will come, the goals will come, but don't worry about that part of it. Just do the right things without the puck and do it together.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Dirk Muller played 19 years in the National Hockey League. That's where that respect factor comes from that Brian Engblom talked about a moment ago. High slot chance here, and that was Giroux that was stopped by Peters, and now a puck deflects out of play.
A couple of big saves there by Justin Peters. As we were going to break, he made a terrific save, and just now, too, he kicked out that right pad. They need that. They need to hang in there until they can score the first goal, possibly. There he is, finding the puck through traffic and just using that right pad to kick it out. That's been, a difficult situation when you're coming in and you're the third goaltender and you know your team is looking for you for big saves. Sometimes you put too much pressure on yourself. Perhaps that's what happened to Peters, but he's off to a good start here.
LeCavalier threw it right to the front, comes all the way to the near boards. Braden Coburn pitching down the right side. Now LeCavalier trying to center it. Eric Stahl, whose stick is broken, and now the Hurricanes able to send it back the other way, and Braden Coburn, who was headed to the bench on a change, will play the puck. And now he'll make the change he was looking for. Giroux's pass doesn't come out of the zone. Lucy trying to keep it alive. Off the stick of Grossman, but he recovers. Nick Grossman backhands it up the near boards. The Cavalier making sure that he gets it out on the far side. Now Giroux with it. For McGinn, who's bumped off the puck by Hainsey. And back comes Eric Stahl. Hammers it off the boards in front of the Flyer bench. And Philadelphia going to move it right back out the other way. Now Ronaldo has to send it to the front, hit off the side of the net, and Peters has it pinned there. As we go inside the glass, presented by Progressive Insurance, here's Brian Engblom.
Before the game started, we talked about Vinny LeCavalier being back in the lineup. He's an important guy, obviously, for him. A free agent signing. He's their leading scorer. He's got 5 goals and 7 points, and he's wearing extra facial protection in this game after the fight that he got into with Steve Alexi against the Washington Capitals. LeCavalier is a really good fighter. He doesn't fight often in his career, but he got caught with a left by Alexi. He missed one game. They thought there were facial fractures. There aren't, with bad contusions, but nonetheless, he's a hockey player, and he's got extra protection, and he's out there.
Voracek put it right through the blue paint out of the far side. Big collision there. Lindholm, number 16 for the Hurricanes. And Brayden Schenn, number 10 for the Flyers. And we remember the LeCavalier fight with Jarome Iginla in the 2004 Stanley Cup Final.
Two of the great players at that time. They were at the top of the food chain when it comes to scoring, and they both dropped the mitts in the Stanley Cup Final. It was awesome.
Redirected Voracek shot, deflected behind the net. And Wayne Simmons was knocked down there by Falk, and Jordan Stahl starts it back the other way. Hands it off on the right wing side. It bounced in on Mason. Grossman tries to clear it up the far side. Lindholm got a piece of it momentarily, but now Philadelphia recovers to send it out to center ice. Murphy for Harrison, and Harrison will bank it off the near wall into the Flyer zone. Grossman back to get it. Hands it off for Simmons, lifts it high in the air as he took a hit from Ruutu. And now backhanded by Dwyer, right back into the Flyer zone.
Ruutu always finishes his checks, and he plays hard. He's got a lot of miles on him. He's got a lot of injuries the last couple of years, but he doesn't let off the pedal physically.
Straight trying to work Ruutu over there, and now Murphy in tight quarters. Sends it along the boards behind the Flyer net. Grossman gets it out the near side, but not out of the zone. Harrison for Ruutu. Ruutu to the front, redirected. And a save made there by Mason. That was Riley Nash, number 20, that got the stick on it. And back the other way now comes Couturier for the Flyers. Sends it to the front. Harrison, good stick position, and Ruutu skates it back the other way now, hands it off for Nash, who is pinned along the boards by Mazeros. Dvorak down on top of the puck. Hal Gill on top of him. Not easy to move with Hal Gill over the top of you, I'll tell you that.
He's not getting up anytime soon.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if this is good. It looks like the referees, I don't see an arm up. Hal was working him over pretty good there.
And he's even looking around like, guys, I was waiting for a whistle.
Yeah, Radek Dvorak's got a few words now for Hal Gill. Like, what the heck? I'm just trying to stand up here. Gill goes, no, you're not going to stand up. Hal Gill did a terrific job. We mentioned earlier, he came in and played his first game of the year against the New Jersey Devils in a tough situation. There's Gill in the initial altercation, and then he just keeps him in that position. The puck is underneath Dvorak for a long time, so Gill's going, hey, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
Hal Gill is a very calm influence in the locker room, too, and the Flyers have needed that lately.
Now LeCavalier to the net. And that deflected up high on the glass, knocked down by Hartnell. Picked up by Giroux. He hands it off for a chance here. Peters with a glove save as he pushed out to the top of the blue paint. Then a little bit of a scuffle as Hartnell was in the vicinity of the Carolina goaltender, and a couple of the Canes defenders object to that. But we will step away, still scoreless, under 6 minutes remaining in the first.
Flyers with a terrific scoring chance. They get the puck down low behind the net, and Carolina kind of overcommits. Look, they got 4 guys right around the net. Well, Giroux gets it. Nobody's watching Timonen. Timonen gets great penetration. He takes the one-time shot. Giroux with a little bit of a smile, just trying to take a little pressure off Timonen. Timonen just shaking his head. The top shelf on the far side was open. He didn't make his shot, but it was a terrific save by Peters.
And so far, Justin Peters doing for Kirk Muller and company, Brian, what he has to do is Flyers have 9 shots, backhanded to the front, loose in the blue paint and clear to the boards.
And that was Timonen coming right back, determined after missing that one. He just looped out of the corner, took it right through the paint.
Hartnell wraps it around, it goes off the skate. One of the Hurricane defenders, a good second effort hustle there by Manny Malhotra, forced it back to center ice. The Flyers dump it back in, and it deflects right to the front of the Carolina cage, where it is covered up. You can download the NBC Sports Live Extra app to watch the game live on your phone or tablet, plus have access to live chats with experts for Pro Hockey Talk. NBC Sports Live Extra app on NBCSports.com/live extra and NHL.com.
The Flyers need more from Kimmo Timonen. He hasn't skated that well so far this year. He is a terrific two-way defenseman. He was angry at himself for missing that goal, got up on the play, took the puck right into the offensive zone and right through the paint there. Then get offense from the defense. That'll go a long ways to helping the Flyers get out of the slump.
What a competitor he's been throughout his career. Kimmo Timonen now is Talusi for the Canes center ice. Second effort got it into the zone. Now it's picked up by Eric Stahl. Backhanded save made by Mason. Recovered by the Hurricanes. Murphy fakes the shot. Now Harrison. Shot pass to the front. Changes direction, and Mason able to cover up.
Steve Mason has done a terrific job in this game. Boy, it's 0-0 because of fantastic save on that 2-on-1 against Jordan Stahl, where he just punched the puck away. He's worked with his goaltending coach, Jeff Reese, this year a lot in staying back in his net a little bit more. He's a big guy. He's 6'4", about 215. They want to utilize his size. He used to come out and challenge more, so then when he had to move right to left or left to right, it was a big distance to cover. I think that showed in that 2-on-1. He was able to get across and make that save.
Now Jordan Stahl working one-on-one against Braden Shen. Hands it off for a shot from the angle that was blocked. That was Lindholm that had the opportunity over there. Now here come the Flyers the other way. Simmons cruising to the front. Wasn't picked up, and now it's fired over top of the net by Voracek. Out on the side of the net. Braden Shen trying to stuff it in, but Peters had it covered on the post. And Lindholm will chase it down. Doesn't come out of the zone. And following up is Hainsey, and he clears it out to center right. Just over 4 minutes remaining here in the first period. Shots are 10-7. Philadelphia, it is scoreless. Carolina coming in the beginning of 5-game homestand, having lost 5 straight. And after getting off to that 4-2-3 start. And as Brian mentioned earlier, outside of Pittsburgh, a lot of the Metropolitan Division struggling.
It's been a disappointing division so far, quite frankly, and that's good news for a lot of these teams like the Flyers because they're still hanging in there as poorly as things have gone from the time. Carolina as well, for that matter.
Ruutu plays it up the far side, bounces off the stick of Dwyer, and Sprite able to get it to Grossman. He'll backhand it out to center ice. There's Tuomo Ruutu finishing a check again. Adam Hall hands it off again with a blast here that is blocked by Murphy, and that goes into the netting and out of play. Lots of hockey action coming your way. Rivalry night tomorrow night here on NBCSN, beginning at 6:30 Eastern. The Rangers take on the Penguins. And then Thursday on the NHL Network, it'll be the Rangers taking on Columbus. NBCSN next Tuesday. Brian and I will be in St. Louis for the Blues. And the Phoenix Coyotes off to their best start in over a decade, making some noise out in the Pacific Division of the Western Conference. Clean face-off win, a shot here up high on Peters, and he holds it there.
Boy, that was kind of an example, I think, of what's going on with the Flyers. They get a good, clean face-off when Kimmo Timonen and just a little indecisive there. When you're on top of your game and the offense is just flowing, you get open and you take 2 steps to the side, you hammer the thing at the net. He was looking to make a pass first, and then when he saw it wasn't going to happen, just kind of floated it to the net.
This time Carolina controls the draw cleanly. Andrei Sekera will play it up the near side. Jason Bowman had his stick chopped there a bit, and the Flyers looking to regain control now in the Carolina zone.
Sekera's got to make a better pass from behind his net, tape to tape. You do it off the wall like that, gives the Flyers a chance to turn the puck over, and they did.
This is the top defensive tandem for Kirk Muller's Hurricanes. They eat up the most minutes. Rustin Falk and Andrei Sekera. Now with Malhotra off the wall with it out to the line. Falk with a shot. Tipped in the high slot, goes wide of Mason. Now Mazzaros plays it around. Malhotra, high slot. Here's Bowman with a chance that is blocked just wide on the left side of Mason. High slot again, a chance here. That was blocked by Hal Gill.
Real nice job on the forecheck there by Carolina, getting 2 shots out to Bowman. He's the guy on the high slot, ready to go back defensively, but it puts you in great offensive position too, because you're in between the defense and the forwards. You got 2 good shots away.
Now Toulouse for the Hurricanes. Far side picked up by Semin. Eric Stahl with this top line as well. Semin waiting for Hainsey coming late. Hainsey shot to the net, tipped by Eric Stahl wide. Now Semin. Back to Eric Stahl. Coburn watching him. Off the boards out to the line. And a shot attempt there did not get through. And Timonen back the other way, and that deflects into the Carolina bench and out of play.
Carolina did a terrific job on their forecheck. I mean, they got in there, they got deep, and Drayson Bowman, that guy right there, had 2 really good looks. Their first one from Manny Malhotra, put it right on the tape. Bowman could have spun around and got a little quicker and better shot on it, and then right out of the next corner, they get right back to him again. He got a much better shot away, but it was deflected in front. Again, similar to the Flyers, Carolina having trouble finding ways to put it in the back of the net.
Now Jordan Stahl. Elias Lindholm in there as well. Earlier this season, Lindholm became the youngest Swede to ever score in the National Hockey League, just under the age of 19 when he did that.
Yeah, he was playing in the Swedish Elite League at 17 years old. I think he had 30 points. That's pretty good.
Murphy lost it. Got here up high. May have hit the mask of Peters. Another chance following up. Was deflected wide, and now Peters without his mask. They got to stop this play here. Now the referee sees it.
Yeah, absolutely. They never noticed at first. I think that shot did hit him in the chin. And when the goaltender's mask is hit in the chin, it'll pop the strap. Hall steals the puck and then has a great screenshot. Watch this one just kind of explode up on Justin Peters. And it had already loosened, and I think after the fact, that's why it was he couldn't keep it on his head afterwards.
Yeah.
Scoring chances for both teams, and both teams just don't have the touch.
Again, just 21 goals for the Flyers, 5 of them in one game, and that's the only game, a win against the Islanders, in which they scored more than 2. Chen able to get it free for Voracek. He wheeled and stand on a shot as Simmons sends it back to the line. Grossman hammers one. That's blocked in front. Perfect position by Malhotra, who's been absolutely terrific in the faceoff circle, which is the biggest reason they gave him a chance.
And Grossman was angry at him for that block, so he hammered him in the end wall.
Mason with a save off the Belmore shot from the point. Now Malhotra hands it off. Here's Bowman. This line was terrific last time out, Brian, as you pointed out on the forecheck. Trying to get something going here in the last half minute of the first period.
They were quicker along the wall. That was the difference. The Flyers have to fix that in this shift.
Now Nash and Dwyer along the boards in the Flyers zone. They come off the wall with it. Sent to the front. Mason with the save. Dwyer again with Shenroyd on his back. Behind Lynette for Ruutu. 7 seconds left in the period. Ruutu looking to the face-off circle. It was blocked by Voracek, but recovered by the Canes. The Canes right at the side of the net. And Dwyer was stopped by Mason just before the buzzer as Carolina creates something again.
Good work by Carolina. I mean, they had the pressure on. The Flyers were not quite sure how they were going to attack this. They just went to the front of their net and allowed them to be in behind. They gave them time to work it. Dwyer got that chance from the short side, and Mason, who was very sharp. Both goalies were very sharp in this first period.
Stay with us. Coming up on the Lexus Intermission Report, Liam McHugh, Mike Milbury, and Keith Jones. We'll talk about the Hurricanes getting their chances, and Alexander Steen, who was red hot in the month of October, continues scoring for the St. Louis Blues, who are in Montreal tonight. Busy night in the National Hockey League, so the guys will talk about this game and what's happening around the league. Right now, we'll step away from Raleigh, North Carolina. It's scoreless after one. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Getting ready to start the second period, scoreless here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's go inside the glass with Brian Engblom.
The shots were 13-10 Flyers in that first period, but what happened towards the end of the first period in particular was interesting for Carolina. They started pulling the puck off the wall and doing a real good job on the forecheck. Look how many different ways they do it. Get it out front. Terrific shot there by Semin. Great scoring chance along the wall. Carolina started to dominate, getting pucks in the middle. Here's another one. Pulling it off, walking it in the middle, and boom, taking it to the front of the net. The goaltender Mason had to be sharp there, and the Flyers are going to have to cut down those scoring chances in the second and third.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the top line that was doing that, Brian, as you pointed out. This is whistled down as an icing call against Carolina, so the face-off back into the Hurricane zone.
And on the other side of the coin, the Flyers did get 13 shots, and they had some terrific looks at the net, too. They had their chance shorthanded. Their best chance on the power play was Kimmo Timonen walking in on a setup from Claude Giroux. So they had their chances, but nobody seemed to have a lot of offensive confidence for either team.
Well, kind of a moral victory for Carolina, whose first periods have not been good this season. They had scored only 4 first-period goals all year, given up 11. As Kirk Muller said this morning, it is tough to play in this league when you're constantly behind 1 or 2-0 in games. Falk plays it out to center ice. Eric Stahl is there. He'll lift it back into the Flyers' end. Kalusti bumping there with Timonen.
Yeah, follow up on that point, Davey. You know Carolina wants the lead, and New Jersey has, the Flyers have already just come off a game where they won 1-0.
Yeah.
So their patience level will be pretty good. So the longer this game goes the way it is, you would think it's advantage Flyers, especially when they are on the road as well. And we have an icing call.
Well, you mentioned Kimmo Timonen, Brian, and we talked about this last week when we had the game in New Jersey with Tampa Bay. Matthias Olin is on Tampa's roster, but he hasn't played since 2011. But there are the guys that are on current rosters in the National Hockey League that have played in all the Olympics that have featured NHL players. As this shot sails just wide of Mason, going back to Nagano in '98, and most people expect that Timonen will be part of Team Finland as Peters tries to fire this puck off the glass. It kind of rolled on him, and it goes over, and it will be a delay.
Yeah, this will be a penalty. I think the puck just flipped on him a little bit. You're right. Came out and tried to hit the top part of the glass. Lindholm is going to go in and serve it. Peters has been sharp in this game. See the puck's not flat. He gets a lot on it. These goaltenders shoot the puck so well.
Yeah.
And that one actually got deflected. I think it went off to his defenseman's stick at the same time as well, too. But the end result, nonetheless, is still the same. That's a delay of game and a penalty.
Power play number 3 for the Flyers. That Reed out at the point. It's knocked away, but Brayden Schenn recovers. And the Flyers will back up and regroup here to go on the attack. Reed and Straight on the point. Brayden Schenn, Sean Couturier, and Vinny Lecavalier up front for the Flyers to start this power play. Here early in the second period of a scoreless game. Now Lecavalier gets it out to the line. Straight tees it up for a shot. And Peters in good position, steered it aside. Now Brayden Schenn again, who had the only goal in that 1-0 victory in New Jersey. Out to the line, a shot here goes just wide. Hard off the end board. Sekera able to hand it off, and a penalty coming here against Brayden Schenn. He took down Justin Falk. And the call will come now, and Schenn just kind of hangs his head. He knows he's guilty.
Yeah, tripping call. When you're fighting along the wall, sometimes your own stick betrays you. You know you have to get the puck. You're on the power play, and a lot of times the thankless job. That one was just sort of reactionary, and he gets caught up in the feet. The thankless job on the power plays is when you don't have the puck, you have to work hard and you have to work quickly. You have to want to get back on your stick. Sometimes power plays get really lazy, and when you lose control, you just wait for the other team to shoot it down so you can get it back. Well, at least Brayden Schenn was trying to work there, but inadvertently takes a tripping penalty.
So a minute 5 remaining in the Peters delay of game that's being served by Elias Lindholm, as Brian pointed out. So 4 skaters aside for that amount of time. Here's Timonen with it. The other fellow Finn on that list of NHLers that have played in all the Olympics, Timo Solani. As a shot here was steered aside by Peters. Voracek gets it out to the line. And wide of Peters, recovered here by Giroux. Tries to backhand it in deep, but it was blocked. Giroux has it. He'll circle back now with under a half a minute remaining in the penalty being served by Lindholm for Carolina.
Giroux and Voracek really moved the puck nicely coming out of their zone. They created a good scoring chance, but again, nothing goes in the back of the net yet.
Harrison waiting now for the time to wind down on the Carolina penalty. They'll have their second man advantage here as Lindholm steps out of the box and right into the offensive zone. Grossman with a big hit. Knocked Eric Staal down, and back come the Flyers short-handed. Here comes Reed with a burst of speed. His pass hit escape, and back the other way comes Lindholm. Lindholm gets the shot away, saved by Mason. Good example there, Brian, of what you were talking about. Mason was not out past the blue paint on that rush. He was back just inside the blue paint.
He's done a terrific job. Carolina got that chance because of a turnover, but also because Eric Staal was really late coming out of the zone after being hit by Grossman. See, you could just see Staal at the top of the picture there. Because of that, Grossman had to be careful and play that like a possible 2-on-1. And he had to allow that shot to happen, and Mason came out and made the save.
Eric Staal tossed out of there. It'll be Toulouse now against Claude Giroux. Around the boards, and Murphy unable to keep it in as Giroux backhands in center ice. Now here comes Toulouse handing it off for Simmons. Mishandled at the line and stopped away. Adam Hall aggressive on the penalty kill there for the Flyers. Under 20 seconds remaining. And the Brayden Schenn penalty. Simmons with a shot here that's blocked. Close to the feet of Grossman, but he collects it now and backhands it up the far side, bounces up the line. And Giroux able to hammer it back inside the Hurricane zone. Justin Peters banging the goal stick on the ice, letting his teammates know the Flyer penalty about to expire. Talusi put it to the front. Kirby redirects it toward the Flyer net, and it's covered up.
Both teams using a late man in the middle on the entry. It gets a little bit dicey sometimes because of that guy, whether it's Giroux for Philadelphia or Semin on that last rush for Carolina, coming through the neutral zone. If they don't make a good play with the puck, then it can be a turnover. You can see the result once they got the puck inside the zone. They got it to the front of the net, but it wasn't really dangerous. Not very effective play on the power play here for Carolina.
Back to 5 skaters aside. Then to the front of the net by Bowman, juggled and caught by Mason Bowman and Hal Gill. Couple of shoves there.
Just getting pucks to the paint and being a little aggressive. That's what Grayson Bowman does. Bowman had a couple of good shots on goal. 2 of the best looks that Carolina had in the first period. Although they were from the deep slot, he had a little bit of time in the room.
Flyers control the draw. Voracek off the wall. Braden Shen far side. Wayne Simmons. Simmons will wrist it deep into the Carolina end. Voracek is there along the end boards. Knocked away. Pops out in front of the Carolina goal. And Grayson Bowman now will backhand it for the Flyers end. Hal Gill is there. Plays it off the wall. Braden Shen now for Simmons. He has stood up right in the neutral zone. Now Gill with that long reach just sweeps it back into the Hurricanes end. Now Lindholm pulls it in on Mason, who steers it to the inboard. Jordan Staal given a rough ride there by Nick Grossman, and now it's deflected back out to center ice. Deflects it back deep into the Flyers zone. Dwyer is there. Grossman another big hit.
He's using that end wall a lot. He's wearing it out in fact.
Dwyer trying to get it on the backhand. It rolls off his stick, and the Flyers come away with it. Braden Shen. A lead pass to Zach Rinaldo. Had to start quickly around Harrison, who would have none of that, and now Murphy under some pressure here. Moves it up the boards and out through center ice. Timo Timonen back to get it for Philadelphia. Timonen up the far side. Hall hammers it off the boards. And Harrison sends it right back into the Flyers then. Mason, the goaltender, got a piece of it. Now it's picked up by Coburn. And he plays it off the glass up the center ice. And right back into the Flyers then. And cleared by Timonen. Gloved down by Falk. Pressured by Time again. But Falk able to regain here and angles it off the inboards for his partner Sekera. Now Malhotra. Ahead for Dvorak. Now for Bowman again, trying to step around Coburn. Hartnell kicks it up to his stick. It gets away from LeCavalier, though. Sekera trying to make a play with it, gets it to the forehand. Now it comes to the near corner of the Flyers zone, up the board. Stick of Dvorak out of the way, but on a second effort, the Flyers clear. Hartnell now for Claude Giroux. Giroux patient with it, hands it off. LeCavalier fights through a check. Now spins back, trying to buy some time and space. Sekera plays it around. Straight is there on the right side for the Flyers. Now it comes all the way out to the line. Nazaros with a shot blocked by Dvorak. Nazaros again. Now Claude Giroux, that's picked up by the Hurricanes and sent softly back into the Philadelphia zone. No icing here.
Good block by Dvorak. One of the problems that the Flyers have had this year, whether it's on the power play or 5-on-5, is getting shots through from the point. Either they miss the net because of shot blockers coming out at them, or they do get blocked. And that means that some of their guys who are net front presence guys like Simmons and Hartnell aren't getting second and third looks at the net, and one of the many reasons why they haven't been able to score as much this year.
Now Peters will clear this puck right up the middle, redirected. Onto the stick of Semin by Talusi.
Yeah, Peters really aggressive with the puck, handling the puck well.
He has been. Semin sent one in wide on the glove side of Mason. Scramble along the far boards. Talusi pulls it free. Lays it along the boards behind the Flyer net. Hard around on the near boards, and Raffl able to send it back out to center ice. Hainsey for the Hurricanes sends it right back into the Flyers' end. Now played off the boards by Raffl back inside the Hurricane zone. Jordan Staal for Harrison, who plays it ahead. And it hit somebody up in that Carolina bench. We get a whistle. 11 and a half remaining in the second. Still scoreless here in Raleigh. Thursday night, NBCSN continues coverage of the MLS playoffs with the deciding match between Portland and Seattle. Don't miss the final leg of this Western Conference semifinal Thursday night at 11 Eastern right here on NBCSN. Face off in the Hurricane zone. Shots are 16-13 Philadelphia so far in this game. Brayden Schenn wins the draw from Eric Staal. Back to the line, a pass to the high slot. Knocked away by Dvorak and off the boards to center ice. Lazaro sends it right back in along the end boards, and Peters hands it off there. Failed to clear. Gill got it to the front. Here is Simmons with a chance, and Peters able to make that save.
Philadelphia Flyers' Nicholas Grossman has been their most consistent defenseman this season, and boy, he's played a bone-rattling game in this game as well, too. He gets a big hit on Eric Staal early on. That's Manny Malhotra, remember, number 8. And then Dwyer as well gets taken heavily into the wall. Grossman does a really good job there. I mean, when he gets you in his sights, he holds the guy up and he hammers him into the wall. That's just good old-fashioned hockey. It has a guy with his head up for any Carolina Hurricane player from that point on.
Listed at 6'4", 230 pounds, the Stockholm, Sweden native Nicholas Grossman, 28 years of age. As this puck goes around and back into the Flyers zone. And we will get the icing call. And we were talking last week, Brian, about the size of the Tampa Bay defense. There's some size on this Philadelphia defense, especially when you had Hal Gill back in there. We were talking about Braden Coburn this morning and Grossman, who we just talked about.
Yeah, there's so many big guys in the league, and it's been about... The question for the Flyers is how much time they've spent inside their zone, and are they moving the puck quickly enough out of their zone? They've gotten better at that over the last couple of games.
Now Giroux centering pass, looking for LeCavalier just off of him, and stepping back the other way as the top two lines going head-to-head here. Once again on this shift, Eric Staal sends one in on Steve Mason. He will hold on to it there.
Manny Malhotra was out there taking the face-off. Malhotra, Dave, as you said, has done a fabulous job at face-off. 73% in the 2 games. You want to know what kind of a guy Manny Malhotra is? He went to camp in Charlotte to earn a contract. 8 games down in the American League. One of the players, they were playing paintball as a team-building thing. One of the players lost a very valuable medal, a religious medal. He went and got a metal detector and looked for 3 hours for the thing, and then he and his teammate went back and looked the next day and finally found it. He could have just gone down there and done nothing. Then it'd say, I'm an NHL player. I'm just playing my way out of here. He didn't do that. That's the kind of guy Malhotra is.
Now with pressure in the Flyers zone, the Hurricanes again finally just cleared out of there. By Raffl, and Matt Reed back the other way sends it in on Peters, and he will hold it there.
Matt Reed doing the right thing. They're just getting pucks to the net. Peters has done a terrific job. Boy, has Peters made some great saves. Matt Reed, the most consistent guy getting pucks to the net, but they just needed somebody there to get some rebounds. Let's take a look at Peters' night so far. He's come out and challenged well. The Flyers had some terrific chances on him on the power play. Something close. This was the power play chance from Timonet. He snagged that one out of the air. He's read the play well. He's defended his area. He's been out high in the crease when he's needed to, and he's also moved side to side when he's needed to. He's been perfect to this point.
Justin Peters, an 8th-year pro drafted by Carolina back in 2004. As this Carolina shot from Gerby turned aside by Mason, and now Mason again quick with the left pad, as it was sent right back in on him. You expect your depth at every position to be challenged during the course of the year, but you don't expect 5 weeks in to lose your first and second goaltenders on your depth chart, as the Hurricanes have with Cam Ward and Anton Khudobin.
And look what happened to them last year. I mean, Cam Ward got knocked out at the end. They were in great position when Cam Ward got hurt.
Yeah.
And then they just went down afterwards and trying to prevent that this year. And early on, the same malady has hit them.
Yeah, March 13th last year, I think the guys in the studio touched on this. Carolina was in first place in the old Southeast Division. But since that time, they are 8-23-6 over the course of how they finished last year and started this season. That's the worst percentage of any team in the NHL over that time period, as Mazzaros is down after being shoved, and no surprise that Tuomo Ruutu is right in the middle of it for Carolina. The net came off. Mazzaros was down. I don't see any indication that there's going to be any calls. We will step away just past the halfway point of the second period. Scoreless in Raleigh.
Off a 1-0 win the other night. It's a 0-0 game here. Is that a good mentality for your team to be in tonight?
I think so. I think we've had some good chances to put the puck in the net. I just want to stay with the program, you know. Got to play good defense, get pucks in deep, work them down low. You know, when we do that, we get opportunities.
Power play has been an issue this year. You've given up some chances against. Are you being overly aggressive on the power play?
I don't think so. I think there was a couple missed plays there and bad bounce. Voracek's on the back end. He ran into the ref there. They got caught in a 2-on-1, but we got to do a better job on the power play of execution.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
One of the toughest to ever play the game, Craig Berube. I remember, Brian, you and I were talking this morning when I worked in Detroit, calling a game in which Berube fought both Probert and Kosar in the same game.
That's a long night.
Oh, my goodness. And more than
he's still here to talk about it.
Yeah.
He was tough. Very tough guy.
Now the Hurricanes hoping for numbers. Good diving recovery there, though, by Brayden Schenn. Broke up that rush. And the Flyers back the other way. Now stepping up in the neutral zone was Murphy for Carolina. Sends it back into the Flyers' end. And hands it off for Coburn. Coburn plays it back down the ice, and that'll roll right in on Peters, so no icing here.
But Dave, even the fact, though, that Craig Berube was a terrific fighter and did a lot of fighting, what happened the other night against the Washington Capitals, he was not making a big deal of. He realized that the game is different. He protected his goaltender, Emery, and, of course, there was a lot of talk around the league about Emery for leaving the crease and getting into it. He backed his guy up, but there was an inference there that, you know, this is not the way we played the game anymore. He knew his team was frustrated. He backed up his team in their frustration, and they obviously turned it around the very next night and won 1-0 against New Jersey.
Yeah. Now LeCavalier just inside the line, able to play it back in deep. Hartnell is there. Spins away from Falk. Now backhands it right in front of Peters all the way off the near boards. Grossman pulls it off the wall and tries to set up Hartnell. It goes around on the far side. Straight moves in from the right point. Now Streit sets it up for Giroux. Back to the line. One time by Grossman. Missed the net.
See, there's another one of those. It's got to get to the front of the net somehow. There wasn't enough of a rebound to get out front, and no chance for second shots.
Becker on the rush, but his shot was blocked. Now backhanded on the far side, and LeCavalier sends it in deep. Peters steps out, hands it off. Eric Stahl looks for the return pass. It was blocked, and now it's flipped ahead. They're looking for Stahl breaking there, but it's knocked down to the neutral zone. Back inside the Carolina end. Hainsey plays it to center ice. Reed jams it right back into the Carolina zone. Couturier trying to make a move on it. That's cleared back the other way.
Great stick by Belmore. He just reached long and underneath there, knocked that puck into the corner.
Now Belmore angles it off the boards. It comes back to him. Now it's out to center ice and picked up by Semin. Semin across the line. Good stick there by Coburn. Semin, though, has it again. Makes a spin away one more time from the Flyer defenseman. And it came off his stick, and it's cleared out to center ice. Reed sends it in along the boards behind Peters. He settles it down, plays it around the glass on the far side, picked up on the far wall by Hall, and now here's Ronaldo. Back Ronaldo trying to send it back to the front. Time again gets a stick on it. Now jammed away by Hall. Back from again. Ronaldo there on the cycle as well. That shot got all the way through. Now Belmore takes a hit, plays it around on the far side. Held in by Lazaro. Ronaldo on the forehand comes out with it. Angles it off the boards. Lazaro rolls off his stick. And Derby looking to break with it across the line. Derby hands it off. It goes through center, picked up by Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal spins. And Flyer defenseman in front. Lazzaro's without a stick. It's snapped in half. Now it goes across. Shot to the net is caught there by Mason as a Flyer player goes down hard to the ice. 5.5 remaining in the second. Still scoreless between the Canes and the Flyers.
Away from the puck on that last play. Watch Jordan Staal away from the puck, dropped the shoulder into Zach Ronaldo. He got him. He popped him pretty good right on the side of the chin. Zach Ronaldo's going to be looking for Staal. He's that type of player.
Yeah.
If he gets his chance, he'll be running right back at him. Staal played a long time, of course, with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Saw a lot of the Philadelphia Flyers. Maybe there's something in the past, and he wanted to take a free shot at him. Well, he took it.
Now Timonen plays it around on the near boards. Hartnell rolls it across. Coburn plays it ahead, quickly redirected into the Hurricanes end. Sekera for Falk, plays it around on the near side. Dwyer is spun around by Timonen. Nash hands it off on the far side. Rucci shot gobbled up here by Mason. And you mentioned Ronaldo getting in the middle of the physical stuff in this game, Brian. He also got involved in the pregame skate. As apparently he thought you needed to get some of the wrinkles out of your suit. A little bit of...
He came over and apologized afterwards. He said, I didn't mean to get you that much. I realized that he was going to keep coming, but it was too late to get out of the way. He put me through the car wash there, all right. Oh, well. The dangers of being down here.
Now Raffle gets it into the Carolina end. Reed trying a quick backhand centering pass that didn't work out. Reed continues to control deep in the Carolina zone. Under 5 minutes remaining in the second period. A scoreless game. We weren't really sure what to expect with these two teams, both struggling as they have. Was it going to be this kind of a game, or was it perhaps going to be a little bit more wide open and freewheeling?
Both these teams are working hard, but there's a deliberateness to the game. There's just not that crispness in the passing and the puck handling and that free-flowing scoring instinct when players and teams are doing a good job with it. Neither team has it. Even their top players just can't keep, in that sync. We've had some games, Dave, where we've seen crispness, and boy, the tempo of the game is just way different than these two teams that are just struggling to execute every little detail.
Voracek with it. Looks for Simmons. Simmons on the backhand. Gets the shot away. And Peters just on his knees held his ground. Now Braden Shen sends it out to the line. Strike with it. Head up all the way. Safe. Rebound chance. And that was stopped from getting to the front by Peters as well. And angled off the board by Dvorak for Bowman.
But finally a decent second chance on the rebound for the Flyers.
Pass across for Voracek. Didn't get through. Simmons kept it alive once, now twice. He's looking to make something happen offensively for Philadelphia here as Voracek now sends it across. Simmons right to the front of the net, sending a scream, but the shot goes high and wide on the glove side of Justin Peters. And the Flyers back inside their own zone. Getting control here with just over 3 minutes remaining in the second period. Belmore takes over for the Hurricanes. It's into the Flyers zone. Jordan Staal pass to the front. That was blocked by Al Gill. Now Falk sends it across. Here's Derby. Derby, low shot. Middle side by Mason. Jordan Staal sent it to the corner. Now it's sent up the near side. Flyers have it. The pass didn't get very far. Hurricanes turn it right back into the Flyers zone, but again, it's cleared right back out.
Sekera doing a good job standing up with Falk in the neutral zone.
Big collision there, Hartnell. And he caught Lindholm, who was shaken up on the play. Play continues.
Lindholm dropped his stick right away. I think he caught it with the shoulder.
Yeah.
take another look at that. Hartnell coming out hard on Lindholm in the neutral zone. You can hear the boo birds out here. They wanted a penalty. They saw their guy drop his stick. Watch Hartnell come out. He reads the play and comes across. Lindholm was making the play, gets his head up at the last second, tries to move. Hartnell comes through, charging through, and he made contact, certainly with his mouth on the shoulder.
Well, Lindholm's going to step aside, but that looked more like a straight-on play. The officials are talking right now because, again, anytime there's contact with the head that's deemed to be avoidable.
It's one of those tough calls because when you're taking a run at somebody and the guy moves at the last second, that's where you get collisions that are dangerous. It's part of the game. There's not going to be any penalty call there. I don't think there was any more malicious intent other than that Hartnell saw a guy that was ready to be hit, and then when Lindholm moved, he did adjust his shoulder a little bit and caught him in the mouth area. I don't think it's deserving of that term of, head hunting or a deliberate shot to the head, although he did make contact, obviously.
So a face-off deep in the Flyers zone with 2:20 remaining. Here in period number 2, two teams in the Metropolitan Division trying to get things turned around. Flyers control the draw. Pass off the stick of Reed. He's dumped to the ice. And whistle here for a hand pass. As the Flyer player went down, the fans heard a whistle. I think they were starting to boo, thinking there was a penalty coming against Carolina. That's not the case.
Both teams really having trouble getting to the front of the net now. It's really clamped down in the second period. It was a little loose at times, but both teams gave up in the first period chances against when they were on the power play. So shorthanded chances again. Those have gone away a bit, and just tighter checking through the neutral zone and tough sledding to get into the zone and get any chances at all.
Belmore plays it ahead. It's off the stick of Dwyer and deep into the Flyers' end. Strike. Pressure there by Nash. Wright tried to play it up the boards, blocked by Ruutu. And Nash able to kick it free, backhanded to the front. Good positioning by the Flyers. Now Voracek trying to use some speed down the left side. Tipped it across, it was behind Simmons. And the play is offside.
Simmons never saw that. He just never saw it coming. It was a terrific pass by Voracek. Simmons was coming so hard, he never realized, because there's so many players. Watch how many bodies are between Voracek and Simmons. You see Simmons? Yeah. He's working hard. He's not expecting the pass yet. And actually, the timing of the pass was pretty good because Voracek was being closed down upon, but Simmons just never saw it.
Voracek, who was voted by his teammates the Flyers MVP and most improved player last year. Had a terrific season with a career-high 22 goals in the shortened 48-game season. And now Murphy spun around by Raffl, and I think they are going to pick up the penalty here against the Flyers.
It's a holding call. I'm not sure who's getting it. I didn't see that in the corner. It is Raffl. Oh, yeah, there it is. Right in behind the net. Spins Murphy around. That's a bad penalty. You're reaching around one way, and yes, Murphy played it up for sure. He spun around to make it more obvious for the referee to call, but you have to be careful. 200 feet away from your own net, those types of penalties are the ones that make coaches cringe and make you lose a couple of shifts.
Eric Staal wins the draw. Power play number 3 for Carolina in this scoreless game. Centering pass, redirected right on. And a save by Mason off of Nathan Derby.
What a brilliant save by Mason. He is really sharp here. That was a bang-bang set play down to the corner, to Lucy, to Gerby. Watch the rotation. Top of your screen, watch 14. He sees the puck go down. He goes to the front of the net. When it went to the corner, to the front. Terrific play by Lucy right on the paint. Only a quick jam play attempt by Gerby. Didn't really have a shot selection, but it was snuffed out.
Face-off win Carolina again. Top of the circle. Shot fake. Seven holding on to it. Looking down low, he hands it off. Gets the return pass. Sweeps it to the front, and it's steered aside by Mason. And picked up and cleared all the way down the ice by Giroux.
Mason had the paddle down. He had the shaft of the stick along the ice, too. That was a no-look. That was Semin trying to look the goaltender off. He was looking in the middle of the ice and then shot, but it didn't fool Mason.
One extra move by Ryan Murphy at the line, and through the playoff side. Of course, a former Calder Trophy winner, Steve Mason, is Rookie of the Year when he was with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then just lost his form and looking to get it back. Picked up at the trade deadline by the Flyers last April.
He really started playing well at the end of last year, and he is built on that. He's worked with Jeff Reese, as I said, his goaltending coach, and they've changed some things, and he's played some terrific hockey this year.
The late call coming here. Did not see the infraction, but the referee's arm is up, and now Peters heading to the bench. So with Raffl already in the box, we get another call here, Brian, with 28.3 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high sticking call. Couturier is going to the bench. Yeah, it is high sticking. Because the referee came over and looked at, I believe it was Falk. Yeah, there it is there. Oh, it's Murphy, excuse me. The stick came up, just rode up the shaft of the stick and catches Murphy on the chin. Referee came across and looked to see if there was any blood. There was not. So it looks like it's only a 2-minute penalty. Tom Cowell, I think, made that call.
An important 28 seconds in this game. That's the time remaining in the second period. It's a 5-on-3 clean face-off win. Seven with a shot that was blocked. Loose puck recovered by Eric Staal, and he fired it wide. Chased down now by Murphy. Pressured right away by Adam Hall. Now around the boards. Nash hands it off for Semin. 14 seconds remaining in the period. Semin tried to feather it across. It was knocked down. Eric Staal picks it up out straight away for a shot, and Murphy broke his stick. Makes him vulnerable here on the counterattack shorthanded. But he does a great job of going down and putting the hip check on Hall as the horn sounds to end period number 2.
What a great play by Murphy with no stick. That was a terrific hip check. Boy, talk about Murphy's Law. Everything going wrong here for Carolina offensively with the broken stick.
Discover Card Intermission Report coming up. Liam, Mike, and Keith will talk about Alexander Ovechkin on the score sheet. And the hot Minnesota Wild hosting the Calgary Flames in a Western Conference matchup. Still scoreless. Third period will begin here in Raleigh with the Canes still enjoying a 2-man advantage. The Intermission Report on the other side of this. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Verizon, the official wireless partner of the NHL. And by Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. Back in Raleigh, North Carolina, PNC Arena, Dave Schrader along with our man inside the glass, Brian Engblom, as we take a look at our DiGiorno storyline. And, of course, the story on both sides, scoring, who's going to score, and goaltending. Now, Steve Mason has done the job for Philadelphia, Justin Peters for Carolina, and so we are scoreless through 40 minutes of play.
They've been solid, Dave, and spectacular at times when they really need to be.
So we will start this third period. The Flyers still with 2 men in the box. 33 seconds remaining in this 5-on-3. Here's Murphy. He will take it himself into the Flyers zone. Across now for Lindholm. Hands it off for Semin, top of the circle, straight away for Murphy. Down low, Eric Staal back to Murphy, the one-timer. And that was blocked in front, I believe, and then cleared all the way down the ice by Hall.
I think it did get to Mason, but a lot of the steam had been taken off it, no doubt. It was a terrific shot labeled for the far corner.
Now Murphy again hands it off. Across the line, here's Eric Staal. Murphy tees it up. One man out of the box. Raffl is now a 5-on-4, and he got back to disrupt Simmons' attempted shot to the net. Now Semin again at the top of the circle. It's now a 5-on-4 power play for Carolina. In this scoreless game early in the third period, Murphy back at the line. Winds up a couple of times. Trying to find time and space. He goes back to Semin. Hammers a shot. Saved by Mason up high. And the puck is cleared by Raffl all the way back down into the Carolina zone.
Murphy was frustrated there. He did want to shoot it. The puck wouldn't sit down. It stayed on its edge even after he touched it once. So that took away too much time and space, and he decided to pass instead of shoot.
Jordan Staal. Send it across. It's off the stick of Ruutu to the corner. Al Gill with that long reach of his. And now here is Matt Reed. He'll send it all the way back down the ice. Peters plays it out to center ice. Picked up there by Jordan Staal. And out of the box now comes Couturier. And Jordan Staal has it 5 skaters aside. Deflected by Toulouse in wide of Mason. Now it comes off the wall. Toulouse, a shot, missed it on the blocker side. Falk back at the right point. Now Ruutu to the corner. Jordan Staal is there. Jumps over the stick of Toulouse, coming down the wall with Sekera. He is pressured, puck knocked away. Voracek moves it back center ice. Now Falk again. That's off the stick of Bowman. He goes over the glass, out of play.
Well, that 5-on-3 chance for Carolina was a terrific one. They had quite a bit of time to work with, and Ryan Murphy at the point got the best shot away. They orchestrated the one-timer, and Coburn in front of them. It did not, in fact, get the Mason. Coburn made the save. And then later on, pitch and catch there with Murphy and Semin. And Semin does a good job of getting that one through. I was surprised that Semin in the second period, though, had a couple of good chances. Semin's a terrific shooter. He's a sniper. He's a goal scorer. And he was very hesitant and never got a good look at the net with all the time that he had in the second period. At least that shot we just showed you he got through, and it was dangerous.
And this puck skips over the glass into the netting and out of play. As it's time now for tonight's fast recovery presented by Advil. Brian, this is a play you liked at the end of the period.
Yeah, Ryan Murphy, he gets his stick broken. Now watch him. He's backing up with no stick. Very dangerous. Look at this. That is classic, old style, terrific hip check. Well done against Adam Hall. I'm sure Hall never felt that one coming. You don't see that very often anymore. And when a guy doesn't have a stick, you try to get to as close to him as possible because he can't reach you.
Advil, as fast as it is strong. And we mentioned earlier, Ryan Murphy did pick up a clipping penalty for going low on Derek Dorset of the Rangers last Saturday and was fined by the league the maximum amount.
But that was a straight-on play. That wasn't a clipping call there. That was straight on. When you come from the side of somebody and take somebody's knees out, possibly, that's when they call you for clipping.
Centering pass off the stick. Cavalier got a stick on it and out at the line. Hainsey could not hold it in. He dragged it back over the line and put it into the Flyers zone, but the Canes have to back up. And now here comes Claude Giroux. Takes it wide, sends it across the Hurricane zone. Picked up by Teeman and a save by Peters. And Hainsey just taps it to the corner.
There was nobody in front for the Flyers.
Now it comes to Coburn. Skips away from the stick of Hartnell. And Simmons trying to chase it down. Back to the line, Coburn. That shot changes direction. Hartnell screening in front. Now Coburn keys it up again. That snapped the stick of Tuomo Ruutu in half, and the puck goes up on the netting and out of play.
The Flyers getting the puck inside the zone and working it towards the net. The best chance they had, and Kimmo Timonen got a really good shot on net, but, I mean, there was no traffic in front. There was nobody there to deflect. There was nobody there for a second chance. Giroux started to play, got the puck in the zone, and watch it go through the crease, out to the point. Now watch the front of the net. Timonen with the shot, and then Carolina is able to make the save and clear the puck easily. Just, you have to have more traffic in front of the net if you're going to have a chance to score and second chance rebound.
Jordan Staal wins the zone, wins the draw rather, but then Simmons jumps down the loose puck. Here in the Carolina zone and hands it off. Pass to the front. All alone momentarily there was Brayden Schenn. Couldn't pick it up. And Simmons kind of misfires on the one-timer and makes it an easier stop for Justin Peters.
Good play by Kimmo Timonen. That was a heads-up play. He and Simmons worked the reverse. Timonen moving it down from the point. Watch the left side of your screen. There's Timonen moving down. Simmons moves up, and Timonen makes the quick pass in front. Brayden Schenn had it handcuff him. It went right in between his feet and his stick. It wasn't the pass that Brayden Schenn needed. It was a good setup, but again, no finish. It's been the story of this game for both Carolina and Philly.
Ball cast it after the face-off of the Carolina zone out of center ice. Flyers jam it right back into the Canes zone. Sekera has it there. Plays it ahead. Derby played it toward the Flyers line. It was blocked back the other way. Now picked off again by the Hurricanes. Lead pass to Lindholm. Looks around for some help. Grossman pins him to the boards. Lindholm does a good job battling through that. Tried to make a play to the front of the net. And now it's cleared off the boards and skips away from center. We're back into the Canes' end. Falk back to get it. Moves it away from Raffl, and now the Hurricanes come out with it. Flyers get it back. Reed on the attack. Hammers one. Oh, that went through Peterson, looked like. And out the far side.
Yeah, that handcuffed him. He did get a piece of it, but it looked like it dropped a little bit on him, and he had to fight that one off.
Now Colbert tries to play it up the far side. Blocked by Simmons. Slides it across. Harrison with a chance, and he missed it wide on the blocker side of Steve Mason. And it's chopped by the Flyers back into the Hurricane zone, and it will cross the icing line, and we will have a whistle here. The faceoff back in the Flyers zone. Well, call Star NHL to download NHL Game Center and get a free premium upgrade only on Verizon. Enjoy exclusives like free live NBC national games. Never be without hockey.
Sean Couturier out there for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's done a good job this year. A little bit of a bounce-back season. Last year wasn't his best. He's a third-line center. He's improved on draws. He strums that one and lets them win it, and that was a big one because they had some tired guys out there after the icing. Trouble is, it's going to be another icing call, and he'll have to do it all over again. But Couturier's got size. He came in as a rookie a couple of years ago and did a terrific job on the penalty kill and had a lot of valuable ice time. Last year, fell off a little bit. And he seems more confident this year, playing on his toes more often than falling back on his heels and playing defensively.
Was another face-off there. He was 11-6 in the face-off circle in that 1-0 win in New Jersey. He's going to have another opportunity here on another icing call.
Yeah, 3 straight plays here, and twice right off the glass and down.
But he has struggled tonight as he's won only 4 of 13. As we remind you, Saturday morning, NBCSN continues coverage of the Premier League. It all starts at 9:30 Eastern with Chelsea taking on West Brom, and all leading up to Norwich versus West Ham Saturday at 12:30 Eastern on NBC. And coming into action tonight, Couturier's winning percentage was about 10 points higher than it was all of last year. Palusi hands it off. Simmons sweeps it toward the Flyer goal. It goes wide all the way to the boards. Now Gill left it up the far side. Canes get a stick on it at the line. And coming back is LeCavalier, pressured by Palusi. Now a centering pass did not get to the front. Held it at the line by Falk, trying to get it to Simmons. Simmons picks it up. 2-on-1 down low. Perhaps he's trying to go high short side. And Mason stacked it with a shoulder. Now chipped by Giroux back into the Hurricanes' end.
Simmons been one of the most dangerous players on either team tonight, but he can't find the back of the net. Mason's got his number.
Now Bowman back the other way. Grossman took a hit there along the boards. He's been the one delivering most of the hits tonight for Philadelphia. As it's jammed back into the Hurricanes' end. And coming back, Manny Malhotra plays it off the boards and out to center ice. What a story Manny Malhotra had what everyone thought was a career-ending eye injury late in the 2010-11 season. And not only did he come back to play, but he came back actually in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals that spring for Vancouver against Boston. But there was still a lot of concern about how much he could actually see out on the ice. And he was cut loose by Vancouver last year. And again, a lot of people thought his career was over. You pointed out, Brian, he went down to the minors and earned a contract as this shot right through, bounces off of Mason, but it went past the Hurricane player in front, so no rebound chance as Couturier crossed the line. Play was onside, but it bounces back out to center ice.
Yeah, that was Dwyer. It was right there on the doorstep. The rebound came out so far, went right past him.
Now back come the Hurricanes again, but Nash was checked on the play as it's cleared back to the Carolina line. Here comes Ryan Murphy.
Boy, he got quick feet. He is terrific on the ruck. When we talked to some of the coaching staff of Carolina this morning, they talked about this kid really wants to win. I mean, he wants the puck. He wants to be aggressive. You can see his confidence level grows all the time. Ryan Murphy.
Second team All-Ontario Hockey League the last couple of years playing in Kitchener.
The knock against him was, he's not very big. He's only 5'11". So he's got to be careful defensively of who he's out there against and have good body position, because there's a lot of guys in the league who are a lot bigger than him and use that leverage on him in his own end.
Voracek takes a hit as he dumps it into the Carolina zone. Simmons trying to sweep it back to the front of the net.
Lindholm did a good job on Voracek. Voracek got a half shot. He had half the net open there, but he couldn't hit it.
Now Derby into the Flyers zone. Grossman back to play it. Skips away from Jorgenstall. Now Semin fights to get it back for Carolina against Brayden Schenn. Now it comes free. And Schenn for the Flyers to center ice. Lifts it back into the Carolina zone. Gill sets it up. Mazzaros misses the one-timer. Could be a breakaway opportunity here if the pass connect. But a good stick by Mazzaros. He just got a piece of that, Brian. That would have been Semin in all alone as we approach the halfway mark of the third. It is scoreless. This was earlier Semin trying to go high on the short side, and Mason denies him. Two guys we talked about from the top, Eric Staal on the right, Claude Giroux on the left, captains of the respective teams. Eric was a member of Team Canada in Vancouver when they won gold in 2010. A lot of people thought that Claude Giroux would be penciled into the lineup for Sochi this coming February. Kevin Lowe from Hockey Canada is here watching, and Brian, you and I have talked to a few people along the way in the first month of the season as Eric Staal tries to jam it to the front. Another chance here, and that hit a player in front of Mason. Now Hainsey with an opportunity that's knocked aside.
I think that shot hit Palusti.
And Hartner will sweep it in on Peters. And Peters will send it around the boards on the far side. Semin took a hit there, and now Eric Staal protecting it along the wall. The puck is out to center ice. But apparently, Hockey Canada likes to see some of their prospective guys, Brian, in games like this where they're head-to-head against somebody else that they're considering for the roster.
Yeah, exactly. It gives them a chance to watch them both at the same time. So they'll be looking at Staal and Giroux here, see how they play against each other, what their strengths and weaknesses are. And, of course, both have struggled offensively, and their teams have not played very well. So they have to play themselves onto this team at this point, I think. Staal has the inside edge, as you said, Dave, because he was on the last Olympic team for Canada.
Yeah, I think loyalty has a lot to do with it, and he's a little bigger guy, and he's got the versatility. He can play the wing, and I think that's what Canada likes him, with all the strength that they have down the middle of center ice. They got plenty of guys that can do that.
Yeah, there's about 12 centers, I think, on that roster. So some of them have to go over the wing, and Staal did a real good job of that last Olympics.
Offside called here at the Carolina line, so we will step away once again with 9:25 remaining in the third. Hurricanes and the Flyers scoreless in Raleigh. Tomorrow night is Wednesday night. It means rivalry night here on NBCSN. We've got a dandy from the Eastern Conference, Pittsburgh and the Rangers. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern with NHL rivals. NHL Network continues coverage on Thursday night with the Rangers and Columbus Blue Jackets. Next Tuesday here on NBCSN, we've got Phoenix and St. Louis. McGuire with a shot. Quick right pad save there by Mason as it's lifted back out to center ice.
Mason's flashed out those pads several times on occasions like that. Very quick legs.
Now Reed, diagonal pass, knocked out of midair by Harrison, played with a high stick, and so you get a whistle.
That's an aggressive play by Harrison, though, in the neutral zone, staying jammed up there and not allowing the Philadelphia Flyers to get any momentum going. And that's been the story of this game. Neither team has been able to really do much, on the rush, especially in the second period on here. Harrison moving up there. He did knock it down with a high stick. A bit of a risky play, but confidence level very high there. If you back off, then you get a free entry into the zone for the Flyers, and Harrison didn't do that.
Now Semin with a shot and a glove save right off the top of the pad by Steve Mason.
Boy, the pace of the game has really dropped down drastically now. I mentioned earlier in the game that it hasn't been breakneck speed anyway. It's been a very deliberate game. But both teams really careful now, trying to protect themselves and try and get 1 point out of it and work from there, it seems.
And so much of it has to do with confidence, does it, Brian?
Yeah, and there's very little offensive confidence. Even, you know, the good puck handlers there, the Giroux and the Simmons and the Stalls, you can just tell they're just not quite on top of their game. That crispness, that quickness, their ability to see the offensive chance and take advantage.
Thinking of an offensive chance, could be one here for Eric Staal. Club save again by Mason.
Terrific save. Really good job there by Mason. Stahl's at full flight there, so he not only has the speed of his slap shot, but the speed of his body coming down the ice. That gets transferred into the shot. The left-hand shot on the right wing side, and that looked like that certainly had a look on the far side. Would it have been wide? Hard to tell there. Mason not incredibly far out, like he didn't come out and challenge way above the paint. That goes back. He's just out on the very edge, talking about what some of the changes he's made, and obviously a very quick and confident right-hand glove save.
Top of the circle after the Canes win a draw. The shot doesn't get through. Lindholm has it again, and do we have a hand pass? Not sure what the...
Yeah, it's a hand pass.
Okay. There's the indication from the linesman as you see the numbers on Steve Mason so far tonight, and he has been terrific. You talked about his work with Jeff Reese, and that's such an important relationship. Their goaltender, their goaltending coach, to be on the same page. And boy, I didn't mean to be talking, Brian, when that puck was flying at you, but
that's all right. I was being blocked out here. Steve Coates is down here with me. He was blocking for me.
Brayden Schenn wins this faceoff back into the Flyers zone. Lindholm in on Grossman around the far side. Jammed up along the boards. Flyers come away with it. And Streit, who's center right, backhands it into the Philadelphia zone. Belmore checked in by Voracek. And Belmore has it. And able to send it across for Gerby. Far side, off the corner boards. Centering pass is blocked by Streit, who was a good defensive position, and it's wrapped around and out to center right for Ryan Murphy, plays it there. Now Harrison sends it along the boards in behind the Flyer goal. Gill for Streit. And Simmons had to bounce off his stick. Taken away by Nash. Now just inside the Flyer zone. Sends it in deep for Dwyer. Dwyer sends it around to the near board. Chopped at by the Flyers. Hall, but sent right back in. Behind the Philadelphia net, Lazzaros. Kicked out to center ice by Couturier, but the Hurricanes get it right back again.
Boy, we've seen that a lot in this third period. Carolina doing a good job. Philadelphia's had to ice the puck several times. There have been a lot of face-offs in Philly's zone. Sooner or later, you think that one of those face-offs is going to pay off for Carolina.
Well, you go back to the last goal that the Flyers scored in a 3-2 loss against Anaheim. And since that time, they had the 7-0 loss, the 1-0 win, and scoreless so far here, well over 200 minutes with just the one goal. Now a bank pass off the wall, and it's not up high, and a save by Peters. One of his better stops there on Hartnell.
Oh, was it ever? And that was a terrific shot by Hartnell, who hasn't had very many good looks, but he was on the fly there. He snapped that one out. That had a lot on it.
Now it comes an opportunity for Dvorak that was handled by Mason. And the Flyers get it out to center ice for Cavalier, sends it across into the Hurricanes end. Falk will move it quickly up to center ice for the chip in from the red line by Dvorak. And the Flyers forced to come 200 feet as Hall sends it back in behind the Hurricane net. Peters hard around the board with it. Got it by Hall, and Salusti plays it across. Now Belmore. Hand on it. Second effort gets it in deep. 5.5 remaining in regulation time of the scoreless game. Belmore fakes. Now he'll let one go. Mason able to kick that one aside. And chipped up the far side and down the ice. And it will go far enough for another icing here.
Belmore with a really good fake at the blue line. Before that, there's Hartnell coming down. That was a terrific shot. You see it in slow motion. He got all of that one. Look at the bend and the flex in the stick there. That was labeled for right under the bar. And well done there by Peters, who's had a very strong game here.
Jordan Staal wins it cleanly. A shot here blocked wide of Steve Mason in goal. Kept alive by Ryan Murphy for Gerby. Nathan Gerby hands it off. Gets it back. Shot on the angle of Mason. Held his ground there. Boy, he cheats it all. That puck had a chance to sneak in. Now Murphy. Across for Harrison. Harrison had nothing else but to chop it. And now we got a scrap going in front of the Philadelphia goal.
I think that's Nathan Gerby. I couldn't catch. That was away from the play. I didn't catch the numbers.
It's Mark Streit, the Philadelphia defenseman, that's down.
I saw 4. I don't know if that's 14. Yeah, it is. Gerby.
Well, he didn't like what was being done to him.
He's a feisty guy.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how they sort this out, whether there will be any power plays, which is an important factor with under 5 to go in regulation and still scoreless. Lots of history between the Rangers and the Penguins. NHL rivals 10:30 tonight. And of course they'll meet tomorrow night, Wednesday night rivalry. And we have a power play as we went to break. That little scrap involving Nathan Gerby and Mark Streit. Gerby drew the extra 2 minutes. So Philadelphia late here in regulation with 4.5 remaining in a scoreless game with a chance on the power play. Their 4th man advantage. Here is Giroux. Angles it back to the line. Now it comes to Voracek. Far side. It bounces off the stick. And now back to the line. Timonen hands it off for Voracek. Far side. Giroux lets it go through traffic, and Peters alert to make the stop.
That was a smart shot there. It was just an easy one. There was a screen in front by Simmons.
Timonen score! Deflected in front. And it may be Hartnell that gets this goal on the power play, and the Flyers with a 1-0 lead.
Yes, it is Scott Hartnell. Good positioning in front of the net. That was a high shot, but great eye-hand coordination. Scott Hartnell gets off the Schneid, has no points coming into this game. Hartnell gets set up in front of the net. Timonen, who's had some good hard shots from the point, and Hartnell kind of fought that one off almost. It was in tight to his body. Nice shot by Timonen. They'll review this to see if the stick was high, but there was no chance there for Peters. That just completely changed direction on him, and 1-0. Scott Hartnell's first goal of the season, first point.
Well, he was quite candid in talking to the media in attendance this morning about his slump and the drought. He said, I just cannot let myself get too frustrated. And that's what they're looking at right there, Brian. You're right.
Yeah. You can see Justin Peters, the goaltender, came out. He was going to shrug it off. He had his arm up in the air. See if you can get a look at the goaltender. See? He thinks it's going to go high, and then, of course, it gets deflected and drops right down on him, so he has absolutely no chance when it dropped probably about 3 or 4 feet. And you can see Justin Peters, the goaltender, was pleading his case instantly to the referees. Now, tough for the referees to tell on a high-speed shot like that, which is why we have all the replay angles. Will there be a definitive look? I think because it went off the lower edge of the stick shaft, I don't think it was above the crossbar. We'll see.
On video review, it is confirmed the stick is below the height of the crossbar. We have a good hockey.
So it is a good goal.
Oh, a little sigh of relief there.
So a power play goal for the Flyers, something that has let them down this year, comes up huge. Late in regulation to make it 1-0 as the 7 shot is into the glove of Mason, and he will hold it there.
Mason bails him out there. That was a turnover by Coburn. One more look at it. In the middle of your screen, the stick is there. Yeah, that's below the height of the crossbar, and it hits the bottom edge of the stick. And again, no chance for the goaltender on that one.
Talusti hands it off for Eric Staal. Stahl working the corner. High slot Semin gets the shot away into the glove of Mason again. He will hold it there.
Oh, David, is Mason ever seeing the puck well? That was a good, quick shot by Semin, who's had some of the best looks overall, and he's had several shots towards the net. And that was a steal by Mason. He tracked the play. It was coming out from between a couple of legs, and he still got the glove on it.
Stahl and Couturier. Stahl wins it clean. The shot by Semin was blocked. Here's Falk with it. That bounced off of Timo Timonen, who sends it ahead now for Claude Giroux. Giroux winds up. He lets one go. Oh, that hit Falk on the backside. And Sekera now will play it around on the far side. So Timonen and Giroux getting the assist on the goal by Hartnell, as you mentioned, Brian, his first of the year.
Hartnell just had a great block, too, right off that faceoff. He came out and snuffed out that play by Semin.
And that play whistled down at the Philadelphia line.
Faceoffs have been important, especially in the second half of this game, and the Flyers have had a lot of them in their end. Watch Hartnell come off the faceoff dot as Carolina wins it. Hartnell goes down right away as Semin finds it, shoots it quickly, but he has his head down, and he shoots it right into the pads of Hartnell. That's well done.
Picked up by Voracek off the boards. His shot was blocked by Hainsey, who got back quickly. And that's deflected out of play.
Well, that's one of those face-off plays that kind of backfired on Ron Hainsey. They won the draw right back to him. He tried to fire it across to his partner, Murphy, who's very quick, and he made a bad pass. It was behind Murphy, so the puck came off the wall, and all of a sudden, bang, Voracek's got a chance the other way. Hainsey has to come across from the far side and deflect it away.
Canes control the draw in their own zone. Quickly out to center ice, Jordan Stahl. Backhands it into the Flyers zone. Coburn behind his own net. Scoops it ahead, and it goes off the stick and out of play.
Carolina wants a penalty there. I thought that was a penalty as well. Braden Coburn, coming out of his zone, is on his backhand. He tries to shovel the puck off the wall. It goes over the glass and into the seats. John McLean, assistant coach of Carolina, really upset. He started screaming immediately. He flips that over, and it goes over the glass.
Well, I think Simmons said he touched it. Did he reach up and touch it? Because if he did, that was a heads-up play, because it looked like it was definitely going out. And by Simmons touching it, it goes over the glass, but not from the defensive zone. But yet the faceoff is coming all the way back. Interesting. Eric Stahl with it. 2:20 remaining in regulation time. And the Flyers win back-to-back 1-0 games after that 7-0 shellacking they took on home ice Friday night. And Craig puck into the Carolina bench out of play.
Craig Berube talked about his Philadelphia Flyers, being in that mode. They did win 1-0. Now they're up 1-0 again. He talked about staying the course when I asked him the question during the second period. Being patient on the power play, being patient 5-on-5 and executing the right way. And they have done that. They're finally up 1-0. Now they have to sit on it without spending too much time in their own zone.
Now Sekera plays it ahead. Chipped into the Flyer zone by Dwyer, but he was cut off immediately. Grossman takes a hit from Ruutu. Now it's lifted back out to center ice. Down to a minute 40. We're going to have to keep an eye on Justin Peters the next time the Hurricanes get possession of the puck. Is this going to be icing? Oh, it is. That's not what the Flyers wanted to do there. They did not need to ice that puck, Brian.
No, they didn't. They were a little careless coming out of the zone. Giroux wanted to waste a little time, so he just took his time coming out of the zone. Then they got put under pressure and ended up with an icing call. Yeah, it's not the way you want to execute. It's the details of the game. They didn't do the details very well. Now they're going to have a big face-off win and battle this one out of their zone.
Well, as the Flyers talked about their strategy in the timeout, let's go back, Brian, to this situation that happened in front of Mason. This exchange between Gerby and Strike. Gerby drew a double minor. Strike just 2 minutes. It led to the power play opportunity.
And then there's the goal that's made it a 1-0 game on that deflection from Hartnell. Happy camper for a lot of reasons there. It's his only goal and his only point of the season so far on the struggling team. Gerby was playing hard in front of the net, and he took a couple of shots on the head from Strike, and he started pushing back and punching back, and that extra 2 minutes certainly hurt them.
There is Peters on the bench, so the extra attacker is out now for Carolina. Minute and a half remaining here in the third period. Draw one by the Hurricanes. Semin had it knocked off his stick. It goes off the stick of Reed and recovered down by Murphy. Jordan Staal slides it across. Now back to the line, Murphy again. Hands it off for Semin. Sweeps it in deep. Jordan Staal for his brother Eric. Now Gerby out to Murphy straight away. Across for Semin. Semin goes back to Murphy. Mishandles the puck momentarily, but recovers. High tip play for Jordan Staal just over top of the net. Here's Toulouse now. Eric Staal put it out in front, score! Eric to Jordan, and the Stals have tied the game at 1.
Really come with a full court press ever since they got scored upon, and with the goaltender pulled, the Staal brothers go to work behind the net. Number 11, Jordan Staal in front of the net. He gets away just for a second. Eric with a terrific pass. The coverage just isn't quite there. That's Giroux, who's close to Jordan Staal, but he doesn't turn around and take his stick. Jordan Staal just feints to his left, gets on his forehand. His brother gives it right on the tape, and it's a bang-bang play that Mason can't stop.
Well, Kirk Muller told us, Brian, he'd like to be able to use the Staal brothers together a little bit more often, but they just don't have enough depth down the rest of the forward
Exactly.
to make it work.
At center ice, they need that 1-2 combination. They played together the last game, and they had 10 shots on goal out of the 28.
Half a minute remaining in regulation. Jordan Staal, second of the year. Finally, the puck comes free, and a one-timer here by Mazzaro sails up high and wide on the bottom side of Peters. Yuri Toulouse draw the other assist, along with Eric Staal. As the final seconds of regulation winding down.
And Dwyer just got his stick up on Kimmo Timonen right in his face. The referee didn't see it, I don't believe. I don't see an arm up, no. Kimmo Timonen is livid. That was right about 3 seconds before the buzzer. And heading into overtime, a 4-on-3 would be a brilliant chance for Philly. But it does not look like it's going to happen. They didn't see it.
Well, we didn't have any scoring for about 56 minutes in this game. Hartnell, he got his first. The Jordan Staal from his brother Eric. Headed to overtime. Time is presented by Fast Acting Advil. Dave Strader, Brian Engblom, the rest of our crew back here at PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. It took quite a bit of time for these teams to get on the board, but Hartnell on the right got his first goal of the year with just under 4 minutes remaining, and then Jordan Staal tied it up.
And right before the buzzer went, Kimmo Timonen's going to need some Advil because that stick of Dwyer came right up under the chin. The referees did not see it. A 4-on-3 would have been a great chance for the Flyers, but it's 4-on-4.
And for the Philadelphia Flyers, this is the first overtime game they've been involved in this season. Even though they've been involved in 7 one-goal games.
Well, Ryan Murphy is going to be really aggressive. He's already up on the play. Carolina is going to be aggressive in this 4-on-4 situation. They've got the mobility of this young kid, and here he goes with it.
Fourth overtime for Carolina. They are 0-3, but he'll take the shot, but it's turned aside by Mason, and now Seven plays it around the boards. Jordan Staal gets it free, sent it out between the two Carolina players in the zone. It'll be chased back down by Falk. So Falk and Sekera, along with Jordan Staal and Dwyer, the four skaters for Kirk Muller. Greg Berube with Vinny Lecavalier, along with Claude Giroux. On Streit, who kicks it up to his stick, sends it toward the net. It's blocked wide of Peters. And now Falk able to get it back from Sekera. Now Dwyer on the left wing, the shot blocked. Dwyer able to recover it. Battling against Mazzaros. Nash tried to bring it out toward the line. It was taken away in Voracek. Hands it off. Brayden Schenn. That shot hit a couple of legs on the way through. And taken back down by Kirby. Kirby fires one in wide of the Philadelphia goal. Voracek finally kicks it up, and he lost his footing.
Kirby's well rested after sitting out those 4 minutes.
Yeah,
you know he's got a burr under his saddle because he knows he was sitting in the penalty box when the Flyers scored.
Now Malhotra sends it across. Kirby will head to the bench. And Talusi comes out to take his place. So Talusi and Malhotra up front now for Carolina. Out here against Reed and Couturier for the Flyers. Couturier, number 14, holds up in front of the Flyer bench. Hands it off for Streit. Ooh, he got knocked off the puck. And back the other way. Malhotra looking for the breakaway. And the win scores! Manny Malhotra!
Victimizing Mark Streit on that play. Terrific smarts by Malhotra. Streit never saw Malhotra coming. He got a piece of him, knocked him off stride the puck, and then Malhotra had room to go up the ice on the breakaway. Here comes Streit. Malhotra steps up and knocks him right off balance. Then he gets the quick pass up. Good wheels by Manny Malhotra. Makes the move to the backhand, gets the goaltender to open up. There's another really good look at the hit. Streit just never expected that. Malhotra, the veteran guy, sees the opportunity. One deft move, goes 5-hole, makes the difference.
One of the best stories in the National Hockey League just got better. Manny Malhotra, yet another comeback from that eye injury and subsequent surgeries he had back in 2011. And getting another chance to play in the National Hockey League. And the ultimate example of a guy playing both sides of the puck, makes the defensive play and then scores the game-winning goal here in overtime. Coming up on NHL Overtime, presented by Bud Light with Liam, Mike, and Keith. We will talk about the Stars and the Bruins in a shootout and the Capitals' offense staying hot. For Brian Engblom and everybody else here in Carolina, I'm Dave Strader. Thanks for watching. More coverage coming your way right after this.